and turn your life into gold. I want to tell you, Steve Jobs, there were moments, some harsh. Technically, they also say he was not one of the finest men to work with. You know, he was not as easy as Apple. He made the Apple phone so easy, but his own life was so complicated. But he has also described certain moments in his life which have taken him to these higher roads. All I ask, when you start opening your own life, today, if you permit, I would like to pay a tribute to my Guru Pramukh Swami by cherishing the priceless moments that have made a difference in my life. Some of the incidents that I want to talk to you about, because I feel that you are close, I have never ever said publicly. But as I honestly think that some of the moments that have made a difference to my life, defining moments that have happened in the presence of Pramukh Swami, who I have been with for more than 35, 36 years. As a child, I have grown up with him. He has nursed us, taken us. Actually, he has taken guarantee of children who were not his. And even us, look, when we arrived in India, we had no clue of Indian history. Forget about history, culture. Forget about culture, languages. Actually, Pramukh Swami took a risk by making us sadhus. We had to be taught right from the beginning, Gujarati, then Sanskrit, and all these languages. And it is not easy, it's very difficult. But I want to tell you some of the priceless moments with Pramukh Swami, and in a way, together we can pay a tribute to Swami. And I believe these moments will also help you in a special way. Let me take you back, the first moment which is so strong and sunk in my mind. And as I talk to you, I'm transported back into England in the streets of Leicester. I was a 12-year-old kid. The weather was cold. And the mornings in England were even more bitter. I remember somebody telling me in 1977 that there is a big Swami who has come. So let's go down for his darshan. We were little children. And obviously with me, I had a lot of friends. So there were the 10, 15 of us children. We had gone. Some elderly gentleman told me that, Pramukh Swami is going to come. And in the morning, there's going to be puja. In the puja, we need to bring flowers. In England, roses were very expensive in those times. And if you know the mindset of British people, they love their gardens. And the flowers in their gardens are worth like children. 5 ગુલાબ થયા ને તો એને પંપાડે ને સાચવે ને આમાં ઠંડીમાં તો ઉપડી જ જાય બિચારું ગુલાબ. તો they take care, they water. This is the culture of the people. So when they told us, I was 12, remember? When they told us that, do you think you can bring some flowers for Pramukh Swami's puja? Straight away the idea struck me. I got about 6, 7 children together. And as we would do it, I said, okay, let's go down to all our neighbors. So 100 or 200 neighbors, we knocked on every door. Look at our sincerity. So we knocked on every door, And then when the neighbor opened, we would talk to them. We said, we have this garden. We have noticed there are 20 flowers. We had counted flowers every. So I said, there are 20 flowers in your front garden. Can we take for our ceremony 2, 3 flowers? All the women would come out and said, yes, you can take, but just take this one, and that one. We had to mark flowers. સમજાય છે આવું તો કોઈ બિઝનેસ ના કરે. We had to mark flowers. And they would say, only take these 3 flowers, okay? Dear Emken, they would sign. So we would get a book. They will sign, get these 3 flowers you can take tomorrow. Okay? Like that, all day we worked through, we went down knocking on doors, and some people said no, some people said yes, some people said no. See how sincere and also how integrity was there. So we took flowers. 4:30 in the morning in the freezing weather, we go and snip the same flowers which they had said 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 1. એવી રીતના ભેગા કર્યા. And next morning at 6:30 in the morning when Bapa was doing puja, I didn't even know Pramukh Swami properly. So I gave all the flowers. The flowers were put in his puja. They were very happy because little children had done this. And I had organized everything meticulously. Then the Swami who was attending Pramukh Swami's puja, he came to me, કે હવે કાલે? I said, what? I said, કાલે એટલે કે કાલે full મેં કહું આ રોજનું છે? I didn't even know પૂજા રોજ થાય છે. I was so shocked. I said, sometimes you do good and you get caught. મંદિરમાં એટલે લોકો સેવા કરવા નથી આવતા કે આ રોજનું થઈ જશે. Don't worry, હરીભાઈ. But still, so I was so shocked. I said, કાલે? એ કહે કાલે, હવે કાલે તો we had not worked out, like, we had a list of other 20 or 30 other homes who had said કે આ 2 flower, 1 flower, 8 flower. So, okay, I got my economic brain together. And I said, હવે આમાં પેલા 50 flowers છે, and if they said 3 લેવાના તો આપણે એમાંથી 4 લઈએ તો વાંધો. With the hope કે આપણે post એને સમજાઈ દઈશું કે we took 4. I'm being very frank, there was no concept of mine to lie. So with the hope that I would go back and say, but you had said 3, but we have taken 4. Okay, 2 તો નહીં, ઓછા ના હોય, 4 જ હોય ને. All right. So instead of 3, we have taken 4. With all sincerity. So next morning, of course, the flowers were ready because Pramukh Swami was just going to stay 3 days. So I had to work it out. ને આ 3 દિવસમાં હવે કેવી રીતના કરું? એટલું તો બ્રેઇન હતું કે ના ત્રીજે દિવસે કહેશે. So I said, okay, so we'll work it out. Next day, and as I tell you, next day after Pramukh Swami finished his puja, he asked the attendant saint that who is bringing the flowers. Look at his detailing. And in front of hundreds of people, they asked me to get onto the stage. I'm a 12-year-old kid who doesn't know technically what puja is. He doesn't know who Pramukh Swami is. And then slowly when I went there, I thought he will bless me. So he asked me, Pramukh Swami, કે આ flowers કેવી રીતના લાવે છે? મેં કહ્યું સ્વામી આવી રીતના નેબર્સને બધું પૂછ્યું હતું ને એમાં 3 હોય 2 હોય. I explained everything. And then Swami said, then જેટલું કીધું એટલું જ લો છો? If he had asked me on day 1, I would have been happier. He's asking me on day 2. So make you say, Swami, now it's not like that. How do you do when you get embarrassed in front of your family? You start waffling. So I said, Swami, it's not like that, but અમે જે 4 લઈએ તો 5 લઈએ તો અમે પછી કહી આવીએ છીએ નામ છે. That's when Pramukh Swami was reading the Shikshapatri. In that Shikshapatri, he was at shlok number 17. And in that shlok number 17, Pramukh Swami showed me that shlok and he read it. And the shlok said, Stena karma na kartavyam dharmarth api kenachit. You cannot steal, okay? Even for the sake of religion. Most people say કે આ સારું કામ છે એટલે વાંધો નહીં. Swami, a 12-year-old child, and Swami explained this shlok to me, Stena karma na kartavyam dharmat api kenachit. And then the shlok mentioned, you cannot take a flower, specifically it's mentioned, you cannot take even a flower without asking the owner's permission. Swami underlined it for me. Okay? Now I want to tell you, till now, the concept of stealing for me was forcibly taking something. First time he changed my worldview that if you take something, even a pencil, without asking, it's stealing. What a way to ingrain a deeper value of life. And it wasn't over then. Every day for the last 40 years, every time I read the Shikshapatri and when that shlok comes, 17, once again I become a 12-year-old kid and I'm sitting there in Swami's puja in Leicester. See the power of a priceless moment. And I want to tell you the power of a little message that you give your children. Tamena updesh na apo. Generate a moment. Don't force and shout. Create a climate. So I remember 2 years later, I was still not a sadhu. I was about 14-year-old kid. And I really loved playing table tennis. And I remember in our temple, there is a small room. Upar darshan thai, when you come down, there's a table tennis table in the city center of Leicester. So we were playing table tennis. We were really engrossed. When you are engrossed in a game, you forget everything. And suddenly we only had one ball. Some boy, foolish of him, he stepped on that ball. A ball chibai gyo. I was so passionate about finishing a game. Okay? 2 years later, this is 77, this is 79. I was so passionate about finishing a game. I didn't want to steal. I never stole. Just next door to our temple, there was a 4-floor departmental store, Lewis's. If you go to Leicester, you'll see that store. I slowly climbed up the fourth story. I went down to the sports section. You know, Halex 3-star, red balls are at table tennis now. There was a case which has 6 balls. I don't want to steal, right? I want to finish a game. So I opened the box, just take 1 ball. I tell you today, I could have easily taken all 6. Yeah? But I just took 1. I took 1 ball. I put the box, wiped off my fingerprints. I put the box back, and as I was coming back from the store, I was about to enter the temple. Suddenly, the moment with Pramukh Swami, taking something without asking, once again I was back in his puja. I was a 12-year-old kid. And then, from the temple door, I went back to the 4th floor, opened the box, put the 6th ball back, once again wiped my fingerprints. I never finished my game, but I think I won in life. The power of cherishing a moment, let that moment color your life. The best moments, we all say, my dad bau udara tha, but come on, tame. I'm just trying to say, people say my dad or my grandfather was so brave. Let those tones and colors and tints color and add value to your life. So this moment to me that Swami said was something very deep and very different. I also want to tell you that after that, as I started growing, in 1981, I became a sadhu. And Pramukh Swami made 200 youngsters like us sadhus. We were about 18 of us from England, very fresh. We had hardly seen even our temples. And I remember when 200 sadhus were seated, Swami decided that I should continue with my French. You know, je parle français, monsieur, très bien. So fine. So Swami decided of 200 people, he said, okay, you, barabar to Sanskrit banabar, also you learn French. And at that moment, suddenly, you know, ego always comes in. I'm being very open-hearted. I was a child, a sadhu. I suddenly felt so proud that of all the 200 sadhus, I am the only one who is going to continue with French. And fine, so I took, there was pride and ego in my heart, I'm telling you truthfully, for being special. So I took a French book to Pramukh Swami. So Swami said, Kem tu lavyo? Meku Swami Ashirwad mate. 1981, huh? Then Swami said, Kai bhasha ma lakhu le. As if Pramukh Swami knows many languages. So I said, Angreji ma lakho. Swami knows the alphabets, but he doesn't know English. So he said, Tu lakhao. Imagine he's me asking Swami to write blessings for me, and I'm dictating those blessings. Look at the scenario. Look at the scenario, right? So I said, Swami, simple suje, I bless you. Swami ko Bapa, I lakho. He knew the alphabet. Once he wrote I, then I said, Pachi jagya rakho. Pachi B, L, E, S, S, jaga rakho, Y, O, U. Swami wrote that in my French book in 1981. And when I looked at it, I said, Bapa, moti bhul chhe ama. Swami ke kem? I said, English ma, there is a system where all the sentence is written in lower ABCD. I is always capital. What Bapa had done, he had block capitals for everything. On the I, he had put a dot. Meko Swami, I capital hoy. Swami ke jivan ma hamesha I nano rakhvo. I have personally brought a copy of that page of 1981 when he has dotted the I. And I want to tell you in all honesty, I never did pursue my French, but I'm always trying hard to keep my I small. A lesson for French turned out to be a lesson of life. Cherishing those moments, so every time when you get swept away by arrogance and you find out that this તમને જે દુઃખ છે તમારા અહમનું છે તો નાનો કર દો ને યાર. Who knows? Why? Why create a conflict when there is no conflict? I have seen Pramukh Swami many times, if there is no chair, he has sat on the floor. I remember with a heavy heart, I'm telling you, that once in Ahmedabad, when all the hundreds of sadhus were present, some other Mahatma had come. No bad feeling for that Mahatma. He was new, nobody literally knew him. He came, and as a welcome, Pramukh Swami was standing there with Kanku. Swami was about to do Chandlo on his forehead. He pointed to his toe. It's our temple. He's a visitor. Swami is far older than him. Technically, he's nobody. In the presence of all galaxy of Pramukh Swami's Shishya, that Mahatma put forward his foot and he said, he pointed at his toe, asked Pramukh Swami to do the Chandlo of his toe, Pagno. Very lovingly, Pramukh Swami fell at his feet and a Chandlo karyo. I could not take that. When we were in the evening, I told Bapa, with amongst the sadhus, me go, Bapa, તમે માથે ચાંદલો કર્યો તો શું વાંધો હતો? સ્વામી કે ના ના, સ્વામી કે એ તો વિશ્વગુરુ છે, આપણે તો સામાન્ય છે, એટલે આપણે બધાના ચરણાવિંદમાં જ સારા. He did not just tell me something that keep an eye small, he has been constantly living it. So your moments, once you start reliving the same moments in that same way, it becomes your character. Why we say that I have had wonderful experiences and you still don't change your character? Because you stop living and reliving those moments. So cherish your moments by living those important moments in your life. Let me take you fast forward in 1985. In 1985, I was always curious as a child, as a young sadhu, that, we have a mind and everything goes on in our mind. What must be going on in Pramukh Swami's mind? I'm very frank. I always wondered, ke Swamina manma su chaltu hase. Some of this I've never spoken before, but I'm telling you, I was always wondering. So once I remember, we were in Ahmedabad. There was the festival of Jal Jilni. All the sadhus had gone. And it happened to be 24th September, 1985. So I was sitting around and suddenly I asked Swami, मैं क्योंकि बापा तमने केवा विचार आवे छे? That's a shocking thing. Now I feel I was so stupid, but I'm glad I was stupid. So I said, Swami, तमने केवा Swami के केम શું છે પ્રશ્ન? મેં કહ્યું ના Swami, તમને કેવા વિચાર આવે? What type of thoughts do you get? Swami was quiet. Then I said, obviously you must be getting thoughts of us, sadhus, how we should progress, how we should move, what should happen to the temple. Of course, you'll get so many thoughts. Which thought keeps coming back to you again and again? So I rephrased my question. Of course, you'll get so many good thoughts, but which good thought keeps coming to you again and again? I was very particular. Then with a great smile, Swami said, "Ke tane ek વાત કરું?" I said, what? કે કયો વિચાર મને ક્યારેય નથી આવતો? I said, that would be equally great discovery in my mind. I said, Ma Swami, વાત કરો. Do you know what he told me? મને ક્યારેય કોઈનું અહિત કરવાનો વિચાર આવતો જ નથી. I have never had a thought of hurting anyone. It's a priceless moment for me. You know why? If I ask each one of us here, like I'm trying to be so honest to you, if I ask each one of us to put your hand on your heart and tell me, how many times do we get thoughts of hurting, hating someone? જેને કાંઈ લેવા દેવા ના હોય, if you're in a car and somebody, some cycle વાળો બિચારો બ્રેક મારે, હારો હરામ, leave him alone, man. He doesn't even know you exist. He doesn't know. તમે ટ્રેનમાં હો તો તમને ગાડીવાળા નડે, ગાડીમાં હોય તો ટ્રેન નડે, સ્કૂટરમાં હોય તો ગાડી નડે, સાયકલવાળાને આ નડે, અને ચાલતા હોય ને બધા જ નડે. All I'm trying to tell you, એક તો દુઃખી હોય કે વાહન નથી. I'm trying to tell you, ultimately our mind is constantly filled with agony, constantly filled with revenge, constantly filled with hurts. Now I ask you, you think about, do you know anyone around you where you can confidently say that આના મનમાં ક્યારેય કોઈનું અહિતનો વિચાર નહીં આવ્યો? I don't think so. And I stand before you to really tell you that yes, I knew somebody, Pramukh Swami, જેને ક્યારેય કોઈનું અહિત કરવાનો વિચાર નથી. As Gandhi often said, I would never allow anyone with dirty feet to walk across my mind. તમારા ને મારા મનમાં કોક એના ખરાબ પગલાની છાપો પાડી જાય. Don't allow to walk across the mind. Pramukh Swami was so different. And ultimately, it is not something he said. Let me take you fast forward 2002. 2002. Again, it happened to be 24th September. What a coincidence. Just today I was reading my old diaries, and the day he told me that મને ક્યારેય કોઈનું અહિત કરવાનો વિચાર નથી આવ્યો was 24th September 1985. And 24th September 2002 when Akshardham was attacked. My head was boiling. I also remember when one of our sadhus died, I was about to make a public statement. Bapa to akhi raat he was awake in Sarangpur. Then he found out that I also spilt my ideas. And I told people that one of our sadhus have died, this has happened, this has happened. Swami phoned me, Swami ke baraf ni paat mathe rakje. Swami ke, we have been hurt, but we don't want the whole Samaj to be hurt. Sadhu dhamma gaya che, keep it quiet. We kept it out of the papers. Now you can print it, it's too late, but we kept it out of, Ajay Bhai was there whole day. He knew, but we kept it out of the papers. The moment you say and inflagrate, the moment you provoke and create disturbance in society, you might find that people supported you with what? More violence. What support do you want? More violence? Who wants that support? Pramukh Swami, the few days later when he came, and again I want to tell you, I happened to be with him. As I was showing him every part of Akshardham slowly, he asked me very quietly, where did they die? I showed them the place under the tree where the terrorists had died. I had some flowers and some water. Swami started walking towards that. I stopped. In my heart, there was still revenge and hurt. He stopped. I stopped. Swami went without me. A leader is a person who charts his own course. એને એમ નથી કે સંપ્રદાય શું કહેશે, આ શું કહેશે. The heart has to be there. He took flowers, he went without all of us, he sprinkled the flowers where the terrorists had died, and then he prayed કે ક્યારેય ભગવાન કોઈને આવો વિચાર કોઈની માટે આપે નહીં, એ પ્રાર્થના. So what he said about 17 years ago, I have never had a thought of hurting anybody, I saw it in his life exactly on 24th September in 2002. So when your priceless moments are backed with life, they become gold. They become so powerful that they have the power to motivate and uplift you. That's not the only thing. The next incident which I was a witness, and it's a priceless moment I preserve in my heart, I don't think you would ever come across by any religious leader. Sarva dharm sambhav to vat kare, some other people would say. Talk about harmony, talk about love. It's so easy to preach, I'll tell you. I'm really telling you. See, if I ask you if you're doing some business, so how much percentage of profit is a good business? Mukesh bhai? No. Don't say 100%, but normally. What is 10%, 5%? 10%, right? Larry Saib, barabar? So, તમે એને સપોર્ટ આપો છો, બરાબર, કે એ બિચારા બ્યુરોક્રેટ છે ને એટલે. But anyway, 10%, તમારે if even 10% is your profit, you'll say it is good, the chances. You know, in religion, if 50 people come to us and say કે આજે વરસાદ પડશે, if 25 I say no and 25 I say yes, I have 50% chance of succeeding. I'm trying to tell you that it's so easy to talk and preach as a religious person. But to back it up, that's what people want. We can't say people have become faithless. Actually, religions sometimes become ruthless. That's why people become faithless. You have to back it up. So I remember, in 1999, we were in Israel. We were amongst the first Hindu sadhus who have ever set foot in Israel. Bapa was there. I also took him to Egypt. Yeah. And then we went to Israel, and there was a very small assembly, about 50, 60 people. એટલા તો બધા હરિભક્તો હોય નહીં, ગુણભાવી, and people were not much interested. It happened to be Saturday, Sabbath, and everything was almost closed. Then Swami very casually asked, અહીંયા કંઈક ધાર્મિક સ્થાનો છે? Is there any religious places? I said, oh, this place abounds with religious places. You've got the Church of Nativity in Bethlehem, you've got the Jerusalem, the Wailing Wall, you've got the Alaska Mosque of the Muslims. Everything is there. It's the hotbed, technically, of religion. So I said, Bapa, અહીંયા ઘડી બધું છે, so સાંજે કે આપણે જઈ આવીએ. I said, really? The Swami was absolute ready. We went there. I remember it was a hot 12:30 in the afternoon, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It was hot. We were standing at the Wailing Wall, the most precious, most religious, pious place for the Jews. And the Wailing Wall, as you know, there's a mosque on top. There was a Jewish temple which was destroyed. There's a mosque on top. The wall is remaining. And all Jewish people, they cry and say prayers at that wall. So as we went, everybody's amazed that there are these 6-7 saffron sadhus standing there at the Wailing Wall. Then Swami was looking, very casual. This is what Pramukh Swami is, so casual. He saw people folding up pieces of notes and then putting them into the crevices of the wall. જે તિરાડો હોય એમાં ચિઠ્ઠીઓ નાખતા હતા. Swami asked, what are they doing? And I asked, I didn't even know. He said, people have a tradition of writing that prayer and then putting it in the cracks and the crevices of the wall, hoping that God will answer those prayers. Slowly, Swami took a flower, a yellow flower. And Swami reached out and put that flower in one of the cracks of the Wailing Wall. I had so many Jews crowded around, and they were wondering, okay, what is he doing? I was also wondering. Then suddenly he took another flower, yellow flower. And then he put another flower in the... We were all quiet, dumbfounded. I didn't have the heart to ask. Man like, Bapa શું કરે છે? આપણને એવું થાય ને કે if a faith you don't believe in, how would you pray? Let's be honest. So when we came back, and it was afternoon, when he was about to take his lunch, I could not stop.